we're obviously interested. So we just don't re-sign. And with us here tonight for assess, evaluate the president in speech, we get a very, very significant brother in the person of, most of you will have heard, some of you will not have, but for the benefit of those who are not on yet, we get Mr. Alfred Sankoh. And I can see the number don't begin to rise up again. We don't get almost 84 or so. Now we'll just begin again, don't go 10, and we know so we'll get there. But we get Alfred Sankoh, aka CashBox. Mr. Sankoh, please continue Usa you left off. We'll just develop and from there. We can't keep going back and forth.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
As I say, the last question was this. I mean, I know we've talked about like the word that was used as like the president's referring to us as terrorists. You know, like a president, as I say, a president gets to be mindful. A president, not just like you get picking, you picking them, and also you step picking them. I would try for say like maybe step picking like na the opposition them. You picking them like na the one them way kind of like the SLPP. But the example we give you know, the simple thing now we country. I mean, I love me legend way like me papa know they done with them parable way that why I talk just way I say it say combra fall and not the jump fire. When you combra fall jump fire, it cause disaster. Because when you jump that fire the chicks them, therefore, they're not able to jump the fire because they not grow feather it. So waiting then they do, for make them try for go meet you on the other side, they get for walk through the fire. And you know, when chicks then they walk through the fire, now disaster. So this is the reason why make combra fall, they jump fire. This is the reason why I say now two words now kind of like describe the president in speech. Missed opportunity. We have this opportunity for build bridges, for build we country again. Look at it. I mean, the president talk about Tombo. He talk about Lonsar. But, Mr. Prince, he ever talk about what happened na Godrich na that election where they broke ballot box there? The president talk about what happened na Sankoh. The president, like this is the thing where people like can describe this president and the government say the passion. Look at the prison question. I mean, may I talk about is it Usai there where was it Kenema or Kailau where these boys came out in protest of the lockdown. Waiting they do. In fact, the police them be the guide them. These are things where waiting the president for don't do yesterday. Say, yes, we've made mistakes in the past. Things have gone wrong. Now, let's rebuild our country. Let's unite our country. Take away your Mende business. Take away your Limba, your Timni business. Let's fix our country. This president falls short. Before that, the old speech, when you see the old speech, always in the president's been they do, they want pass on the blame. The same thing where they do for the economy. You pass on the blame. The results were achieved in 2 years. It will pass the blame to the opposition. Everything has to do with the past. This speech yesterday, what they try for do, it be one kind of like paint a picture to the international community. For try for tell and say, I have done my best. No, Mr. President, you try to do. In fact, because I want to say your best is not good enough, but you did not even try your best. Because when you try to set up that committee that you spoke about, like waiting it falls short for Teluna, waiting to tell the public, it's like, oh yes, I called the president. And do you remember when he left the president, when the president go visit him? Again, he make another flimsy remarks that very day. And that's when I talked to one cousin. I said, after seeing this thing, you didn't know say this thing not genuine. He gave one comment. I don't know if you pick up, maybe he said, I'm being too picky, Mr. Prince. He gave one comment where be the left and S now would. Like sometimes we have to be responsible. Now I make the comment say, oh, and they take care, I left you now, road, yeah. Like sometimes give respect, just shake hands. Like say, you know what? Thank you very much, Mr. President, for coming. And you know, we really appreciate this. Let's build our country. But what did you do? Oh, I take you, I left you on a road. No, Mr. President, you don't talk like that. Me, from that very 10 day, before I know about this committee thing, I realized like this thing wasn't real. Because like now the committee thing, the president not ever talk in his speech, say, oh, I formed a committee that failed. Julius be supposed to be the chairman, but he not talk him. This president now, they try to pass on the blame. So the you know, like the thing now we are at most right now, we are the arena social media. And guess what? From the picking them of this president. And when I say the picking them, the SLPP, you know, it's they talk, una give we chance, make we rule. Chance, government is not about chance. Government do not wait for chance. Government creates chance. Government creates opportunities. It do not wait for to be given chance.
Right.
Okay, I should stop. I should stop.
Yes, sir. Exactly. I can understand the passion and who side you they come up from, but specific things the way I want for deal with, you know, cannot tonight. Yeah. Which is, you know, like the president in speech where they deal with, but then there is a kind of deviation, if you like. Yeah, we go come to that. Trust me, I promise you, we go come to that. Okay. For let you flow in your elements. So the president is hard to speak, and finally, when the president speak, it comes with mixed reaction from left and right. There are people who probably, or not probably, who supports the president. We say, brilliant. At least the president not speak and the president will stand. There are people who not curse the president, we not support him and say, but when they say the man for talk, Pademba Road, other things them, the shooting at the high Lima in Os.
Absolutely.
But yeah, exactly. Is this what we've got after all this waiting? So it was a kind of a mixed reaction where now that's now the try for weighing into today. How do Sierra Leoneans see the speech where the president make? Of course, to some people, it was disappointing. To the fans of the president, this is the long-awaited speech. You should have made this speech a long time ago. For put your foot down, press down and say, we are not going to tolerate this. So it come back to you, Mr. Sankoh, aka SaLone CashBox. For una we just to tune in. Because you know something we can hear something them, and I know some people and they can pretend like say they sabi somebody. They don't even sabi them. But so if you know me ever sabi the guy when they call SaLone CashBox, where they talk them brilliant, talk them they assess financial and economic situation, we get on this platform tonight. And I'm grateful because one, at short notice, we're able for Brig and come, you know, for can help we for, you know, for get this slot. Mr. Sankoh, the president in speech yesterday called posting like you, I'm not going to even reverse and posting like you based on what you don't see as a terrorist. The people where you they support, not directly, and they talk about indirectly as per virtue of your position in terms of articulating a situation. The president equally say, there people in there, now then we go, we look at the broader definition, the broader terminology, what in terrorism mean. And when we look at context, it's like say the president in speech partly be addressed to the international community. So they don't call the opposition largely say they're not terrorists. What is left of that? I don't know whether I make the point where I want to ask clear, but I should say you're smart enough for get witty at the ask. You don't term everybody, you know, on the other side as terrorist. If he has done that, waiting left because now the repercussion people and they wait for now, because it was deliberate, send the message out to the part of the message or the speech was domestic, the other one was international. That's it. That are the analysis that is as clear as daylight. That analysis for the international community where they call others where not the informity with them as being terrorists, and that implies Dr. Sylvia Blindman. That implies you in terms of your criticism. that implies many others. Of course, me and you know they approve of people the way they incite violence.
Absolutely.
Because I have no doubt that we are decent people. We're on the side of decency. But the president speak yesterday, and at that I try forget from you for analyze this in speech we make when they call, as you say, one moment and they call for peace and reconciliation, and then within 1 minute, 60 seconds and 90 seconds, all the other people, they are terrorists. How you were able to argue or make sense out of that argument, the Mr. Sankoh CashBox?
Thank you, Mr. Prince. You know, like you talk one talk where you say people were saying the president not been the talk. So finally, the president don't can talk now. You know, when people in the talk, and I see people in the thank the president for actually come out now and begin talk. For me, personally, I don't feel say it is true. I don't want to say, you know, make sense, but I don't feel say it is true. You know, normally they can say action speaks louder than words. Surely. Let me look at this, Mr. Prince. When Lawrence Lima shot that boy before he was, or Lawrence Lima in security, was the president not aware of it? Did he take action for it? When the ballot box, this minister broke a ballot box, the president not be aware of it. You know, when they're gonna turn Kolimba and kill somebody, the president not be aware of it. So for make somebody they tell me now, say finally the president don't can talk. For the fact that he not been to take action, that was him speaking to say it is fine. So I don't want to say the president not be ever the talk. He was talking in the background. Because if anything, it could have acted on it. Or you want to tell me, say the president so they're out of touch that it doesn't know exactly what's they go on now in country. No, I do not agree. But you see, make I go back to the question about the classing us as terrorists.
Oh.
You know, like somebody the way I listened to, where this morning we do an audio. We define waiting terrorist mean. I think this man a lawyer, Banabo. I think a lawyer. So I know what try for define past and I go check out mark what it actually mean. But if I remember rightly, he was trying to say like terrorists now somebody we kind of like they go against the state, where they take up gun for go against the state, go against like the establishment of a country. Now I think you also make this analysis where I learned from. And now, if that is the case, terrorists now they pick up gun and for go against the state. Who that don't pick up gun for go against the state? Who that don't actually take like cutlass for one after a minister or for one after like anybody like the president for one after for killer? Who that? You see, now I make a talk say this whole thing, it is a lost opportunity for we country. And the worst thing, you know, like, I know so you can't tell me back, say, oh, like, this is the thing with these finance people, they would always drift to their side. But it is not that. Like, when you look at the country, you look at the way the country they go, now you don't say a country full of terrorists them. Now you don't kind of like release people and for deal with the terrorists there. Like you feel say an investor, they go outside terrorist day. You feel say me, you know, like I mean they talk to somebody one me cousin. For like the billows na SaLone right now. Like so we'll be the talk about the speech. Now I get for tell me, now I get for say, I say you feel say investor they go to that country they right now with that president in speech. Now he say, listen. He said, you feel, he said, me first now, yeah, Popolipo teacher, because he is a teacher, although like he's a maths teacher. Like Popolipo teacher, he said, you want to tell me, say, me also at the bill right now. He said, right now, I'm afraid for even complete them. I say, okay, if you don't class yourself as Popolipo teacher, if you as a teacher, they're afraid for bill your host now, you your country. Tell me if an investor will get money past you, go carry a money, go na SaLone. This is the thing. This old terrorist, are you go class opposition? You know, like I just do an audio. In fact, that's what you call me, say for Come On Live. I'll be just to send them out. I talk about something when they call the midfielder. I kind of like describe and I try to describe like about football. They like a footballer, like when they say this person a midfielder, I mean, you get against Xavi and Iniesta, where they control whether for do a back pass or for do like a killer pass and all length in it. As a president, you get this role for play where it be say you they kind of like distribute the ball forward or backward at the right time. You don't know, say the country full of tension. You can add insults to injury. You can't take pepper, they put on a so foot back. You win a cobra. Now you they sit down, you jump fire side. Then wait till you expect you chicken them for do you feel say you chicken them go they alive? Because the chicks will not be able to jump the fire, but rather they will try to walk through the fire. And when they walk through the fire, disaster would happen. And this is the thing. How can you call someone that oppose you, call them a terrorist? Do you know actually what in terrorist mean? Or you say it is an act of terrorism? Do you know what in that mean? You know, Mr. Prince, now we look at Sylvia. Now this man, they tell we say, it gets, they don't get evidence of things. It just like when you ask when you talk about the prison, you say the investigation they go on, but waiting happen already. It don't talk say like these people that they finance, that they do all the information for the prison break. But you say investigation they go on. So what happen? Why you not can tell the public waiting at the findings of the investigation? Before that, you don't see now how Sylvia go arrange like a like issue na the prison. Usai Fatmata Sawane. So Fatmata, if Sylvia be planner, then it means Fatmata Sawane and Lyle Lawrence Lima, then we don't get intelligence about this. If Lyle Lawrence Lima and Fatmata Sawane, we don't get intelligence about it. Even you know, people in the talk say, oh, waiting Fatmata Sawane go do is the head of like the women's wing now, SLPP. But even Lyle Lawrence Lima not even supposed for Dede as well. Because as a minister, deputy minister to be precise, waiting you they do, get an intelligence, pass them to the security forces, and then you always again at the phone, you always for be informed as to how they for go through this thing where they don't get an intelligence about. So how they can't tell even Lions, because the fact that now this they can say when you go to a war, if they kill the commander, it gets more effect past the phone to the way they be in. So this is the Lyle Lawrence Lima as a minister. If they kill you, if something happen at that prison day, if they injure you or they kill you, it gets a detrimental effect to the country. If like me when a Fontoba go there they kill me, yes, we get the same life, but like because of your position, you're not even supposed for the day. How this president now they can't tell we say they don't get real source for say the people and they finance these people and they give them information, information.
So make a develop that because you make it quite a critical point. But in the meantime, I'll just recognize a few people. Sister Fadima Savage. By the way, CashBox, you've got a lot of people that watch you, here tonight. Of course, you've been on many programs and very prominent people, but I just want to recognize Sister Fadima Savage. Welcome to the program there and now. I'm really happy that you watch this program. And my own brother, Mr. Victor Spain, the Rolling Stone, Mr. Karimu, Sister Imambe, Kamara, Momansare, and many others. I mean, the number they develop, we're almost at 100 target. And they ask una, please, if we get 100 people and 100 people and shape this video, the cascading effect or the pyramid effect is at ×2. We get 200. If 200, your shape times 2, we know the mathematics. I'm not teaching maths, your 101 by the way. But we get Mr. Alfred Sankoh, SaLone CashBox, and these are important issues. On yesterday, the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone spoke to the nation. The president, as we know, Namanwe had for speak, even though on pressing issues, he asked for every area. So when he even speak, we get to ask ourselves, the president speak, why did he speak? What did he say? What did he mean by what he said? This is the assessment that we try to do here tonight. First of all, for many respects, here from other people, is one, the president sound upset in intonation, in voice. There was a lot of frustration. When they try to get things done. We don't try to do judgment on waiting not done and waiting done. But what we do understand from a psychological point of view is the president, if we can take that through some scientific means, there was, some degree of urgency in the president's voice, and the president was upset. But we can equally, make a case for the president that, yes, the president upset because things didn't go the way how the president anticipates them. So we can then turn around and make a case. It's like, why are things not going the way the president of the republic been anticipate? And this is not the situation here where we discuss tonight on the speech where the president give. And with us here for develop this is a brother, a very special brother, known to the annals of social media, brother Alfred Sankoh, aka SaLone CashBox. Very popular program where you in your parlor, na your dining room, na your kitchen, even na your toilet, depending on whether they go with your phone and toilet. That's what it is. Brother Sankoh, take us through this one here, okay? I know say you talk about them briefly, and this is the point where I want to really dwell on. And they try to infuse myself into the program, and at the same time, they try to pull myself into the program so that I don't become, as a presenter, the story. But I do have my own emotions as well, if you can understand. So the presidency, every other is a terrorist. Listen to the pronunciation, a terrorist with a capital T. So all those who support the president's initiative, you are fine. But, and a daily frustration come up because some people then go say, "Usa you come up with where you say the president upset, the president in voice," and if you listen carefully and what they talk, there is frustration on the part of the president, and the president is absolutely right. If you the lead and things let it go your own way, you do become frustrated, even by this small thing. Like Brother Sankoh just filling the space for somebody else. Luckily, I get Brother Sankoh. Do you know how much frustration I feel? Because for 5-6 hours today, I come to the studio, push this button, push that button there for make sure say we get it right. Finally, the person who for bring come on is not able to come on simply because of technological issues. It not means that the person not want come on. The person will actually want come on because we talk and etc. So I try after 2 hours plus of trying. I say, you know what, this is not going to work, and we not promise the SaLone people and say we go come on because now the president in speech now want access. Luckily, we get the brother where they help me for access that speech today. So back to you again, Mr. Sankoh. The president called everybody else, when not they in line with them, a terrorist. So the beginning of the president's speech, it sounds reconciliatory. Where I become na free tongue, na me send word, to the leadership at the time, say, how can I help? And etc., etc., etc. Whereas we've heard from other sources, although they're under incarceration today, but at some point, these were voices that were credible. And they talk about Dr. Sylvia Blinden. Lekam or not Lekam, they don't serve the republic. To a point where in na legend, that woman don't make a name done. It don't make a name done. And what I want for let we know, I'm not a fan of Sylvia Blinden, by the way. And what we talk on this platform, it's just straight talk. And I hope someone they understand me not a fan of Sylvia Blinden. Some of the writings them, I don't agree with them. But the idea is the woman don't serve. Now, most of the senior positions, of course, there are positions which don't evade them. And I think that one of the things that we even they appeal for She is very narcissistic, which is me, self, self, self. And then a selfish position. But not that we want to talk about today. As we sit down and talk today, this woman who don't serve the republic is under incarceration. And the most disgraceful thing is part of the investigation team where they send na in house, then go take a portrait of somebody who you might not like, but it's a portrait. And then they try to introduce them as evidence. Mr. Alfred Sankoh, aka CashBox, I want you deal with, there are a few questions for you here tonight who I want you to deal with. This now another one. And the reason why I lay emphasis on this, I want you to understand. If I've been to talk to you about economics, if I've been to talk to you about finance, if I've been to talk to you about GDP, demand curve, and the yield and dividends, and all these economic jargons, I would have stood back because this is not my area at all. But I try to let you develop this into people for understand. And brother, the reason why they ask you this, there is a lot of people that listen right now, and there's a lot of people who will listen later. We country they at a crossroad where they accuse them. There are things that I don't understand. Me and you hold governmental responsibility where now we civic right and constitutional duty for ask questions, not support blindly, and people then ask, where were you then? Nobody don't ask you, waiting at you age you under the last government or even Pakaba in government, we make it worse. Yeah. Because probably your experience not be even go that far. But now that you've got the experience, you ask questions and say things, and people then come with this myopic, polemic, and shallow sort of kind of thinking, where sort of, they bother with. But this is the rise of mediocrity, they on the rise. Half-baked people, no insults to anybody, but this is not the situation. So, SaLone CashBox, I want you to deal with this subsequently in terms of waiting the presidency, the situation of the country, where we are, how do we get away from this? Somebody say you can therefore ask compound questions. Yes, luckily, I think say you do understand exactly all of my questions.
Absolutely.
So please.
Absolutely.
Please. Yeah.
Mr. Koma, you see, let's look at this. Like 2 instances them the way I give you right now. I know you talk about, say, the president in Atbewam frustrated, and you give yourself as an example where it be say the gentleman will be supposed we are taking place today.
Yeah.
Like you say you were frustrated.
Yeah.
You see, frustration, like when you at one, now they tell you for take the back seat and think. If you at one, you act, they take the wrong decisions there. I give the example to Combra Fall. You Combra Fall, remember this Combra Fall.
You know it's in, I pause you there because there's a call coming in, and the call they come up from your nemesis. So please, and the only reason why they take them because I don't say he really want to direct something at you. He really want to direct something at you. So you are forgive me.
Sure.
Yeah, because we all are family. All right. Let me see.
Hello, Mr. Prince. How are you, sir? Hello? Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Yeah, well, actually, it's not like a question. It's my contribution we have to make because yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so go back at the program. Go back at the program. I will try later. If not, yeah. Okay.
So thank you. Yeah, I can only do this, for very special people, very special people into the then and now. And let me see. Maybe we were able to bring brother Alfred kind of back. Family in the background, wanna see na Pademba Road, the time where the smoke and the rest of it. And yeah, so we should have brother Senior. Let's see if we will get him back. Alfred, did you hear me, sir? Oh dear, that was a mistake for me to take that call. You see, that was a mistake for me to take the call because I just interrupt everything. Hello, Alfred. Okay, I think he's live. He's just move away from his seat. So let me continue from there until he comes back. Hey, boy, Tennyson. Oh dear, I made a blunder. I shouldn't have taken this call from Victor. I shouldn't have taken that call from Victor. I shouldn't have taken that call from Victor. Hello, Fred.
Yes.
I make mistake. That call I take from Victor, it disrupts the entire system.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, exactly. We don't develop over people.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, exactly. I make a real blunder. But stay right there. Let's see whether I'm able to play any magic. Use that same code I give you. Mark up my paper.
Yes, I did, but I tried it, but it's still kind of like.
Okay, like you and back. Yeah, which means that you get for log off Zoom and come back again, but use the same code because I think that same code still there on.
I actually get them anyway.
Yes, yeah, use them and send me the invite again the same way you've been doing.
Okay.
I made a mistake. I know say Victor will get called for you, so I'll be one entertained. Yeah, I'll be one entertained. Like you business wonderful. I get for whole a program for now too.
I know.
I know. Of course, we did live. Let's that okay. We'll talk about them privately. Yeah, we'll talk about them privately. Just use that code. They send me an invite again. Let's see. It should come on instead of we begin a new one because we still get people. And Fabulem again, and they say excuse, and pardon me because we lost because we want to take a call from somebody else, and then we get the whole system mixed up. But notwithstanding, the brother they come on any moment from now. So please, exercise patience.
I'm sure if it's working actually.
Well, what do you get? 853-9931?
No, 853-9931-2117.
99.
Yeah, it's saying connecting, but it's not. It's still kind of like.
And 417935?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I've not even got to that stage for the password yet.
Yeah.
It says unable to connect. Make sure you're connected to the internet and your connection to Zoom is not blocked by a firewall or a proxy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not blocked, nothing of the kind of because I don't mix them up. So come off Zoom, and try for login fresh without details there. Yeah.
Let me restart.
Yeah. So going to do that. Stay on the line while I continue for keep the platform kind of going. Okay. So Fambula, like I say, apologies, of course, Mr. Alfred Sankoh, aka CashBox, is going to be back. we are assessing the speech of the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. Dear, we ask una spread this message far and wide. In other words, this video una spread them far and wide. Sister Fadima Savage, of course, you are a huge stakeholder, and I really, a lot of people. I just don't get a few messages, now both the use. Of course, I will leave that. Yes, happens. You see, now the thing is, stuff happens because the sister does understand that things happen. This is not electronics. One moment you're set, and then the next moment, bam, something else happens. Okay? Ali Yassin, Alaji Amadou Jallo, and Hamid Usman Conte, Hamid Kamara, Alimami Jallo, Abdul Simon. Hey, Dulai. Dulai, how are you, brother? I haven't seen you for a while. I'm happy for see you on. Yeah, I hope the mommy they do well and the Pekin and they do well and everybody they stay safe. Yeah, family, thank you. So in a matter of time, we will get CashBox back online for continue also day. Now call maybe they come in, we've been directed at the program and decide for take them. It just don't disrupt the entire program. But I'm really happy that people in the program understand and they keep their patience because then why you're waiting to happen. So let us see how far we are gone with this. Maybe CashBox don't try for log back on. Yes, I hear the sound we make like say, it's like say, oh yes, we've got him back. Thank God. Thank goodness we've got him back. Thank goodness we got him back. I've never been happy like this for a long, long time. CashBox, Lano talk again. You know, Usa we been there before you come on. We don't know about 60 customers, but they will come back. Yes. Deal with the situation will be Nepal before I take the call, please.
Right. Yeah. So as I say, Mr. Prince, I think like Usa Abin try for say you asked the question where like with the try for say maybe the president was frustrated, and maybe he had to look warm, he looked tense. But let me look at this. You see, I get the story about Combra Fall when the jump fire. Let me assume say, sorry, this Combra Fall, it don't then one corner where it a chuk for fan food then for in picking them. Yeah. Then like where it don't fend the food, it gets frustrated as a result of like also I expect say food for the not able to fend food day. Let me say as a result of that, the Combra Fall decides say they jump the fire. The picking them, whether you're frustrated or not, as a leader, it takes discipline. You know, leadership, nothing where they come with so many different qualities. Them, it's not just about like expressing your frustration. Now, Mr. Prince, let me look at this. For make you know, say this president was actually addressing the international community. He wasn't penetrating on the people of Sierra Leone. He wanted to maybe, and the suspect say, is getting pressure from the international community. If this man be really want to address the people of Sierra Leone, first of all, if we don't talk blatant Creole, the reason why I say so, I can give you an example. I remember when I was growing up, I remember this old DV thing where be arise na SaLone. This now my cousin remind me about it this morning. When Pakaba, you know, like people let me go apply for DV na SaLone na post office.
Yeah.
People let me understand, say people let go take them dividend and then go to where na water. Yeah. People let me desperate because of the hardship na SaLone. Everyone wanted to go to America. Everyone wanted to take their chance in that American DV. Like information comes say, then we take all the application them, then dump them na water. And some people had to pay for these forms. Some people and pay people and fulfill them form there for them. You know what happened, Mr. Prince? Today, I remember when my cousin reminded me this talk, I was like, oh wow, this is a sign of good leadership. You know what Pakaba do? Pakaba go na TV, na Creole talk. Imagine Pakaba where the man, all man be know where they talk yourself. You read the English business panel. This man go na in a TV, one talk na Pakaba talk. You know what he say? He say, no. I feel for una. Mr. Prince, all man we been to line at Shaka Stevens Street where go born post office. They all had to calm down. You know, waiting waiting this president they encourage or tolerate or they develop in this country a no go born good picking for we country. And make I tell you one thing, me also suspicion, and this I can always say when they talk say something here for Apple, this and that, for me, I don't feel say it Apple. You know what's in this president do so? He want try for discourage people for protest. He want try for make, like I say, again, the backing of the international community. If you remember what they talked yesterday, or like the international community know about it, but something like that. I not use the exact phrase, but if they try for say something like that, I mean along that line, where they try for bring fear to the people for make them feel say no, we're not get the backing. Me get the backing of the international community. All waiting it take this president for do yesterday. Now for say listen, I understand on the pain. Can you imagine this man when I go kill Nalomli? It gets in Peking. Can you imagine that guy is in a Sankoh or something? He left Kumbra we get Bele. You know the bitterness when this woman go carry when I go kill in Peking. Always in this president been for do. Kind of like put people and worry down. This president for me don't, you know, like I've been make a statement like a few months ago. I talk him. I think maybe then 2 years anniversary, like a month ago. I talk him say. We can't see it all late for make we attract any sober-minded investor. It all late bad. Now the president not even can make the thing worse. And waiting me the suspect, waiting this president they fail for realize SaLone man, when you not put food na in belly, you the destroy him because it come up with a vengeance. And you know the vengeance when they come with? Not so people in the predict say, oh, they get for face fete. No. SaLone man go wait until election. SaLone man go be angry. If not fast, he go fast for 3 years until like 2023 come. Then I didn't pull the vengeance. But who side the trouble get for come out? Where me the fear personally. Now the fact that way me the suspect say this president don't go and give up power. Whether he win the election or not. And when people get frustrated, when they say and say, no, we don't give you 5 years, then you want to cook the election. This is my biggest fear for we country. So yesterday was a missed opportunity for this president. You know, how you go tell that woman when we get belly, you know, like up till now I visualize this video when this girl be they cry when they go bear a man with him unborn child. Maybe say you go not even born right now. What's not the story where you can tell in Peking? That guy when they go kill Nalomli just after the election, he get picking them. You know the bitterness when them picking they grow up with. You know, like when you look at all them prisoners there, you see the way when they look like Darami and Albert Williams. People go feel say them. Now, because you want to talk about for APC, no. The problem is now the justice system when they operate. You know, like I do an audio a few days ago where I hit hard on with SaLone parliamentarian. Then. When we talk about government, the government is made of 3 arms. You've got the executive, which Maada Bio is the boss of. You get the parliament, and then you also get the judiciary. But sorry, the judiciary. Look at the way the judiciary is so messed up. Every arms of the government right now is in mess, is in a complete mess. Like the judiciary right now, you know, like how you go sit down. Okay, they say now come with evidence for Daramede. Before that, you drag the thing. Now the president, imagine yesterday back in the talk say, oh, ain't go try for order the court. The Supreme Court, whatever I call them, the Chief Justice, for make it try for begin to adjudicate cases them or something like that. Oh, so you just want to make the adjudicate case them where suits you. Why? Wait till you go take state of emergency for go put on the country. Country then they will get then a worse situation now with the coronavirus. Imagine we're then at this country. We don't get over 30,000 deaths. Before that, we Prime Minister all day in the bell we for state na house. It barely man the bell we. It encourage we. We are now, if it's somebody, we will not get it. Imagine this country, when you don't get work, the government they pay for you. They give you salary, then they pay people in salary for making you dinner host. Then they pay you for dinner host. Then they don't even when they pay you back, then they encourage you. SaLone now when they give the people like arara. When you come on and don't forget when you live in and they kill you with beat. Can you imagine? Don't you get people and when they sit down and then country there, they enjoy the joy of democracy. They enjoy the life them where we begin and they live. We begin and go there 6-year-old, then they read book. Go take 6-year-old picking at SaLone if you go read book. Before that, we see John, they tolerate them thing there. Una feel say waiting the president, they do so. And they take we country any well, I mean, you know, like this time a prediction. It's damn too late for this government for turn around the economy. Today is the 9th, Mr. Prince. You can bet me on this. It is too late. Any investor will get attract to that country now. Now they it's a run investor them because they're not ever want to go beyond 2023. They know the risk where they at stake. There is no way. And investors, sober-minded investors, they need to go invest in a country for 1 or 2 years. It's a long-term thing. So you see, I mean,
okay. I want to let you hold on right there. You see, this is the problem. I talk about that earlier on. The moment they give you a chance, they go into your comfort zone, economy, financial. But when you talk about the politics here today, you of course you are forgiving, my brother, and I can see the passion, the impassioned plea as to some of the things that we are talking about. But the thing we try for dwell on is the president in speech, which you did deal with, and you're doing quite a good job dealing with them, and you're going into other areas as to the interpretation of the president in position. So what I understand you they say is the president will get a golden opportunity, but then the president not take that golden opportunity for turn them into something we go sort of twin the country together, bring the country together in a kind of peaceful means, because it start them, but at some point it kind of divide the country again by naming other people, say, this not terrorist, this where not really matter, and from now on we go deal with people then accordingly in the sense, if I don't describe you as terrorist, where I say part of the speech, now be the international community will like that word they terrorist. So if I deal with somebody where I don't call terrorist, but of course you go sympathize with me, because then people there they just can't undermine me. What do you think about the president in speech, the writer of the president in speech? I don't ask you this question, but they ask you in different layers. So when I ask you the first time, the second time, the third time, it means different things. And it's not like say they get waiting at the driver, consequently, not to the same thing at the same time. So somebody writes the president in speech, then put inside, they say, the other people are not terrorists. Instead of they embrace them, if they look for peace. Mr. Sankoh, do you think that this president is sincerely for peace on the basis of what we don't hear and know?
Thank you, Mr. Prince. Make I go back to this terrorist. As I say, like a brother defined terrorist for me. I think for me, like now, our forum way I listen. And I just kind of like pull look what in the word terrorist mean. It say a person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation. Now, let me break this down. It says unlawful violence. APC able make unlawful violence by SLPP government. Then it say and intimidation. APC able intimidate the SLPP government. He said then the definition continues, it says, especially against civilians. And then it says, in the pursuit of political aims. This is the definition of a terrorist. It talks about unlawful violence. When Josephine Jackson go beat Dabobo, was that not unlawful violence? Talking about intimidation. When the chief minister, when Saliu Jallo call him, say, I already stop. Waiting he do, he not call Saidi them for go arrest Saliu Jallo. That's not so intimidation. Is that a terrorist act? You see, then he said like, especially against civilians. We don't see like people You know, people, like I see people in the talk, now the forums, Gishon say, oh, like this, now the terrorist, the way people in the talk about, where the president, they talk about. Can you imagine calling me a terrorist because I state the fact? How you as a president, a golden opportunity is being given to you. You know, like they in a talk say, I mean, and in this way, and they come back to this terrorist. Imagine the president, while I remember, tell we say, Samuel Kamara talk say they go make the country ungovernable. First of all, Maada Bio don't tell Anesco say they accept any result. In fact, it got to the extent, not only is Sam, it got to the extent for block the president in convoy. Waiting Anesco do he step out when insecurity they want to go attack him. Anesco step out. He said, no, left I make I go talk to him. Then secondly, not Samuel Kamara say him, and when Samuel Kamara say him, now waiting our ask this government, may then give we any evidence of waiting Samuel Kamara say. And one thing, I don't even need for evidence, because if the evidence was there by 19 days, Samuel Kamara ide Pademba Road. We all know that. So that will tell you, say, there is no evidence for the we're kind of like back waiting Samuel Kamara say. Everybody, when an election they go, even themselves, when they go, when this election they go on, they make threats them. Say they go do this, they go do this, they go do this. Now, if it's Samuel Kamara say this, how somebody waiting is say they affect you. You know, like this goes back to, you know, people, SaLone people that we need for stop. We need for beginners, we need for stop for say and say, now SLPP we did, let we back SLPP. Anybody we talk against Una, like this person, like look, this person they talk say, this not the terror. Who's kind of talk that one day? For me, what they are concerned about is about Sierra Leone. I don't care, you know, like in almost some, I mean, Mr. Prince, like we be not engaged way before this election. Me, I was a huge critic of the past government. But the point is, this all stupid talk when they talk, sorry, my language, about
that's all right, that's all right. It's accepted
giving the government a chance. You know, I talked about that. How can you refer to people as terrorists? And then you feel, say, the same terrorists them, now they forgive you chance. How terrorists, if terrorists give you chance, you know it's that they try to instill into you? Not act of terrorism. If a terrorist they give you chance, if you want kind of like help you, and they show you how to be a terrorist. So why you do what able for make a terrorist give you chance? You know, like sometimes these things they annoy me. The intimidation. Look at the definition. You know, like this guy define him. I just pull on my phone because me not to Englishman. And it's try to tell you say a person who uses unlawful violence. That election na constituency 110, the Sankoh, the Cambia, even who side and go beat KKY. Like now unlawful violence that one day. Unlawful violence. Yes, it possible say like the people and and one thing we are not able to understand how they're able to associate like the Tombo incident facing APC people. Why? And the presidents come out plain and they talk say this not APC that they do up. How? You know, like Mr. Prince, like honestly, sometimes I need for the control myself because you know SaLone.
Okay, so let's just take over from there so you can find your bearing. It's fair enough because if I were in your position, I might be doing the same thing because I can get carried away. I can get emotionally charged because we tell the talk is speaking from heart. But this nine at the point, Fambulem. So we get almost 150 people in on the platform. Are they ask una please? Let we multiply this number. Don't be selfish. If every one of us can share this, that means times 2 will give you almost 300 people in. And this not in. That message need for be heard because sometimes they can just want deal with we like say we no matter and like say they watch. But I tell you today, take this from me. They are watching. All you have to do is listen to their responses. It just a giveaway say they are watching and pretending as if they're not watching. So SaLone people we need for smart talk. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we've got a very special brother on the platform. It's none other but a very popular voice that you cannot quell, that you cannot silence, and it's none other but Mr. Alfred Sankoh, aka CashBox. If you're not ready about him, just listen. It provides everything for you on the basis, and I can see the love signs the way they go up, which means that a lot of people are here, and the thumbs up, which means that a lot of people know about CashBox already. But this is not what we talk about tonight. We will talk about the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, which is difficult for talk. It's just hard for talk on real serious issues, because myself, I get wind up now, I get charged up. On the issue of Pademba Road, which are the most recent, the president just refused for talk, and he should have spoken. Because this is not a play. When the security and the sanctity of the state is in question, the president needs for talk, not only henchmen in the talk, not only the people on the side, not only Lawrence Lima they talk. Lawrence Lima is just a deputy chief of some ministry, but yet Lawrence Lima don't become the all in all and something, and I hate for talk about him, just the same way how I hate for talk about Bio. And I'm not going to talk about Bio here, neither do I want to talk about Lawrence Lima, but not just examples at the give. Because they can begin to see themselves as significant, just like Lawrence Lima. Lawrence Lima did na government. For goodness sake, let's talk about Lawrence Lima, because of course he is relevant in a government in a senior position. This man, a deputy minister of the Interior Affairs Ministry. Do we understand what in the Interior Affairs Ministry represent? So therefore, if we do understand, we know what in the deputy mean. This man just to go about, he looked like a very angry man. We need some anger management cause. I'm not even mincing my words, this is just fact. Look at the man in photo, look at him at the studio, the way he want to dictate to people there. How is he as if the only one way of Sierra Leone? And then they say this with madness or prejudice. Of course, I can't be Lawrence Lima. Lawrence Lima, deputy minister of internal affairs, and me a poor laborer in England. But they are, and I just say, today, na me picking in celebration in birthday, and I just celebrate, I talk loud and clear, and I get thousands of people waiting for listening to her. I'm not angry, I'm laughing, I'm having fun. I come, a small girl picking 14-year-old already high school, it just make me find fault just now, if we can come and eat before they talk to Mr. Sankoh, okay? Things might not be going well as we anticipate, but here we are, and I see the love sign, here on the platform, and I really appreciate that, and I let it do that for provoke anybody, because we all get with different circumstances. Some people are happy, some are not. But the bottom line is, when we go back home, or if we should talk about home, we want to talk about wholesomely. But unfortunately, this is not the case. So yesterday, the president speak. So in support of them, this speech was a long-awaited speech where the president outlined, say, we go deal with them as terrorists. You call opposition people, and this is not the thing. When I talk about how the president called opposition people, it's like he speaks for the opposition. I wish the opposition would give me the honor for speak for them. I don't speak for the opposition. I'm just speaking about the reality that the president of the republic look at other people and wait for encourage and embrace and talk about unity. And that not means enough of frown on incitement or lawlessness. Don't get me wrong. But then instead, he called them a terrorist. When the brother on the platform just described this, now it go into the dictionary, whether on Webster or whatever, it define them for we. This is wrong. The president, Naina the Papa, the first gentleman of the country, Naina the fountain of honor. That fountain of honor can be tainted because the fountain of honor is an office that exists in its own self, in its entity. The occupant will direct that respect to him if he so deserve. If he not deserve him, to the fountain of honor. It's the office. The person will occupy the office, then become as per how he or she conducts themselves, now so we they look up. Fumble them. there is nothing personal about this. There is nothing personal. And noticing on the social handle, people and they come, and rain insults. From the moment where I decide for do what they do, I will know where me armor. Even though I know they entertain insults. If you want a debate, bring a debate. People know. I get the power of the button, and everybody else. If you get your platform, somebody can do, you get the power of a button for click and ban somebody. But yet I try for entertainment, and I've done this for over 2 years. And people can come with them myopic, then shallow, then polemic. I remember Sankoh, sorry, tonight.
Yeah.
I'm in a university, and I'm going to do some, some thesis. And I write one of me program them, and I send them to me, professor, Professor John, in London Metropolitan. Because the anger was so much in me, my brother, involving the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, that when I articulate them, I put myself into it, I became very emotionally charged. Now the man dismissed me. Now from that day, now I learned this word polemic. It's a coma. You are very now what now they tell you, so I learned from that day. He said you are so polemic. Now I can read the word, and I try for understand and use that in context in many respects, because I sympathize with the Palestinian people, even though Israel sympathize with them. But when you write an academic paper, as you go know, you can't let yourself, go into that paper there emotionally,
yes,
which I did.
Yeah.
So I missed the point altogether. And when the man marked me paper, he said, Komabo, you took point. I don't ever forget. So I learned that word there and I left that word there. And every day I use that word there on people when they come with that polemic. All the time when they come on the platform, where were you? Like when you go criticize, the government now and they ask you, why you don't criticize the last government? Would I ask you who you were then? What was your age then? What did you be know then? Of course, go on.
Can I help you there? You see,
of course, please.
when people say, where were you then?
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing is about then and now. In other words, like we are going back with waiting will not be involving. But
absolutely.
Answer that question again. Usai, then somebody go ask Alpha Saidu as well. Usai Alpha Saidu be there during Pakaba in time where he wait on PC team. So, but yet still, they follow Alpha Saidu, they enjoy Alpha Saidu in trend. So, the same question you can ask a Max, say, Usai Alpha Saidu be there. In fact, we even begin to go backward. See, when this person starts say, Usai you be there when this person be there.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Every time where people and they kind of like, a person will say, we all be there now with shy mode. Like, me, that person will be so ashamed. Like, in fact, I think that you first make self ever come for when people see me face. I never wanted to be seen. And I mean, you don't tell me off past 10 time about that. Because you can always even tell me, say, I always a kind of dark. Like I want to, because I don't want to be seen. I just want people, my voice to be heard. But I mean, at least it make an impact. But this is the thing. For me, they tell me, say, Usa, you be there. Where APC be there. Would I been tell you, say, like, I not been there talking at the background. And you exactly. Alpha side, Usa be there, where Pakaba be the rule with Konski.
Thank you very much for that, because as soon as people begin to make that argument there, I just have a laugh. And then you understand exactly the kind of people the way they ask that question there. Yeah. Either the mentality is low, I don't mean for ridicule anybody, the IQ is low, or it's just a sense of belonging for defend a side as to who side they belong and juxtapose that position there as to which they anticipate saying they do now. Because what you do, it's not like you're trying to defend a side. Open your eyes, open your mind, and see what is being said. Exactly. And then you try for assess them, evaluate them. That's what it is, but unfortunately, this is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a brilliant conversation here with a very special guest. We're just feeling, in a short period of time. I want to read a few comments. It will be unfair because the other day I got, how the Englishman call himself, like when you get There's a name for it with the Englishman call them. I got whipped for it. It's like you don't pay attention, to the chat room and etc. So today I want to pay attention to the chat room. I don't even know where to start, but I will start from somewhere. Rahim Weblink, my favorite economist. You see, I go stop. That's something we favor you. I know if you don't have the person say my favorite economist, CashBox. Keep it up. Yeah, Rahim Weblink, of course. So I know say you go put that name in and you die. He does fancy you. Not in a different sense that sense Patricia Fona is watching. Sister Patricia, welcome. Virac, why you following a Dangerous Guys program? Does it make any sense? Virac, I hope I pronounce them well. And if you're still in the program, you don't just can't inject your venom into the program. Can you expand, please? Because take on.
Mr. Prince, I think I know. I think that person was responding to someone that was saying that we are part of the terrorists the president is referring to.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Thank you they follow. Now that's a lecture on the program for because you can follow. What should they try for do in the then and now going into the future? I will not promise that. We because I don't watch some serious program them in which as the yield they increase, they employ administrators them.
Absolutely.
Once they employ, not mean you pay them or just on a voluntary basis. Then they monitor your chat room so they know the rules and regulations, of the battles of war. If you don't comply, they can Okay, I get that. Okay, V-Rack, thank you very much for that, George Kamara. I'm not obliged to. It is my choice. And una forgive me because I start from the reverse, not from the the very start. And Sister Farella, a sister what I love to beat. I really need for beat this. I really need for beat this sister. Sister Farella, let's say this much in this program now as we get over 100 people in. I love you in a different sense. And you know what I say this CashBox?
No.
This sister is special. You know when we begin this program over 2 years ago, that's before election, when most people don't know.
Yes.
This is one of the sisters that will be encourage me because we get similar hiccups. We don't make great progress, but similar hiccups that we get right now in terms of technology and what have you. This is not the only sister who will be tell me because the sister can look me online and you see how dejected I am, and you can say, Prince, take courage. But I don't say I offend them because I can become toxic, me view them, I don't say I offend her at some way. And Sister Farella, if I did offend you at some point, my apologies, but I appreciate you, I love you, and I need for meet you soon. And I go stop there, but I need for meet you soon, and I really appreciate you. And I think that Brother Karim will put up something, and I think this goes to you because Brother Karim does watch you, and I miss him because I want to say something, and I want to say hello to Sister Kadi. Sister Kadi is a businesswoman. Of course, sometimes it can wade into politics, but naturally in a business person, and now in the worry with the situation of free tongue, like any serious business person will do, because he get beaucoup places where they don't plant for them, and in other game places for packaging and make that in TV program where they make. So I can understand that, and I hope things change quickly so that we go continue, because we all know we places standing where they eat, that clean. I know my sister put the, say you get 5 football fields. I like the way I discover 5 football field of clean. If we can get 5 football field, we can eat until the end of the year. I just use the opportunity for acknowledge people that really watch me right now. And this is absolutely necessary. Sister Kadi, and of course, you're on the platform now, you watch. I wish you really well. But let me come back again, here to some serious business. Okay. But CashBox, the president push back, and you don't argue on boku things them way seem for day on the side of the president. But let me play the devil's advocate for one moment, okay? What if the presidency, and the president is saying, not even what if he say, From where it take over, I give me your opinion on that, but from when it take over, there are certain elements where don't they push back on them, where they hope say in administration not go succeed, not for succeed. And it don't be patient over 24 months, that's over 2 years. What if the president at that kind claim they make? How possible like you go push back on that for say, either yes, Mr. President, but, or no, Mr. President, but. What about that?
That's a very good question, and I think that's where I be actually want to step in. Just and it's very timely. You know, let me just and I believe say you take the same stance on this. For me, I don't ever encourage for make like people and feel safe or go born like a government or even somebody else, because it's a knock-on effect to we all. So I absolutely they against for make them kind of like go burn somebody else or somebody they preach for that. You know, I'll therefore come to the but you see, we need for able to understand. We can't see anybody when they preach say for make like they burn us, for make them kind of like kill people. For me, it is a wrong message. However, you see, there are times when they push people in. They have no option. This is the reason why, if we think about the Arab Spring, now 121-year-old guy in Tunisia, now he started, if I remember correctly. I think he was 21, now Tunisia. Just because they protest, I think it got killed. That's where it started. And then it flowed everywhere.
So let me help you on that before you go forward.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. He was a very young guy.
Yeah.
He was a fruit seller.
Yes,
the
exactly.
thing upset and most in fruit where you go sell, the advantage what we talk about, injustice. A policewoman go and slap him in the foot where he been sell and what have you. He got so upset that he set himself, they call an emulsion or something. Yes. There's a word for it. It burned himself, and that sparked the revolution, the Arab Spring.
Absolutely. So this is the thing we have to be careful. You know, sometimes when desperate people for too long, we don't rely on the youth them. Now we can't see, Mr. Prince. You know, somebody, you know, like you talk, say, oh, the president, maybe they get frustrated for the fact that there are people and they were assigned for make the government fail. Listen, Brother Prince, if me and you talk, say, there are people and they don't exist in SaLone, who will be lying. There are people where they sit down for me, they pray God for make this government fail. Why? Because their life, their above, their pension, they inside politics. They want this government to fail so they can come in and enjoy waiting this government they enjoy. Because politics in Sierra Leone or in Africa, not to forgo work. It's about like, imagine, this is the reason why I give example to the Prime Minister almost in the Anaya. Do you remember, I read somewhere, Boris Johnson take about 400,000 pay cut for become a Prime Minister. He was earning about 650,000 a year, writing articles in newspapers and stuff like that. If they earn about 650,000 a year, now this man is a prime minister. He's not allowed to write those articles in a newspaper edition anymore. In a newspaper now, they earn about 250,000. Why? Because politics in this country is to serve. African politics is to make money. So, in other words, people and they will sit down on the opposite side, where desperately they jealous this government now, they see and say that they're pantif. And because SaLone politics is about get. Always the one get. So waiting they happen, people are desperate. Yes, we get people and when they wait for make this government fail, so then we will step in. If we say that thing they exist, we will be lying. But waiting we need for do. Them people and they're supposed for act for make you kind of like spark, make them see the best out of you. Then people and they exist for make them see the best out of you. For make this government they tell we say now as a result of whether people, you know, please honestly, Then people and they wait for make like the president fail. Trust me, now the most happiest moments this. You know why? Because the president give them exactly waiting they want. If this president be don't come and say, you know what, the people of SaLone, for far too long, we don't suffer in this country. For far too long, we don't play the tribal card now with politics. This is the time for unite with country. Trust me, them people and they're not going to be able to sleep in net. But as I talk to you right now, those people that want they say want take chance. Then they gladly way it be say, and SLPP don't fall for that trap day. We all know, Bra Prince, when Pakaba take power in that country, Pakaba, like people are not be get trust. I think the first term, people and they say like, UNPP win the election, carry for smart. The second time, when people see the passion where Pakaba gets well over 70% of the vote. Because you want to tell me, say them people and they way translate from 51%. If I remember, I think Pakaba the first election gets 51%. So then people and they way come out from 51%, go up to like 75% or so. Which is like an increment of 24%. You want to tell me, say them people have not been there, not been want to make Pakaba fail at the initial stage, but Pakaba proved them right and changed their mindset for me to see other thing. This is the opportunity where this president been get. Now I make can talk say the opportunity where this we always talk when they talk say then they meet the again and then they sway. I hope you don't tell me say I can go back to me finance or economics. But when this president become meet this country gets a foundation. When we look at like the Aneskoma, what he inherit. When Aneskoma come, he inherits the NASIT and the NRA Pakaba be formed. Mr. Prince, I tell you one thing, NASIT wasn't operating. Yes, it was formed. The idea was there, but nothing nobody operates inside NASIT. You know why make nothing nobody operates inside NASIT? Because the only time when NASIT can operate, now when employment kick in the country. Because when employment kick in, that's the time people start contributing to pension, and then them pension money they invest them. You know what Aneskoma do? When it come, it develop, it makes sure the employment increase where it be say NASIT begin name. NASIT be formed under Pakaba, but it don't be ever get name. It don't be that job where people be desperate for. It don't be that lucrative MDA or whatever they call them. Now SaLone. But because of the employment, like I can always get this favorite thing where I can always talk. I mean, maybe you two don't talk about this, but maybe for people that will not listen this before. If you go to World Bank, their website, yeah. You see, listen, before they make the road them na SaLone, they take people where they do the agricultural produce 20 minutes per kilometer for travel. 20 minutes per kilometer. Kilometer when a short distance. He said, but after they make the road, now it take 2 minutes per kilometer. That 18-minute savings, Bra Prince, if this government be serious, therefore we don't monetize that 18 minutes day. And let me forget about that particular story the way then a World Bank the website. Now
about World Bank, as per World Bank the assessment of
absolutely
of roads and okay, so where we left down there and where are we going?
Yes. So the point is going back to this point where we talk say like people and their way see John for make the government fail. If me and you talk say people and no day, we are lying. Because people and then a SaLone way, their career. Politics not supposed to be a career. Politics, especially in Africa. I know some people and go talk say, oh, I am a politician. But the politician, like now them part of the world now, you know it's in the politician and they do now serve that they can't serve. People and they give up like lucrative job. Almost the MP that they get now for a year. I think about 70,000. But they get the job their way, they give them like way over that. But they come and sacrifice for the people. So until people, if this president ignore these people that want him to fail, of course they're Boko bad. They're in the thousands, waiting for the government to fail, so then they get a chance back for come make money. But this president for ignore, behave as you say, is the father of the nation. Behave like Papa. Certain Papa then go there, especially if you not step Papa. That man will be don't left that woman, and they pray God for make you fail, so that woman go see the CIC say that so like this.
Okay, Mr. Sankoh, you know what? I must do a confession on a live broadcast. You amaze me, here with him. But of course, I know we know that prior to this broadcast, also you learn all of this from. But you parable. Goodness me! I mean, for like a young man like you, Sabine, kind parable, you must have been attached to something much more older, far away from you. Yeah, but I'm quite yes. But let you come back, here to the subject matter of what we talk about.
Yeah.
And this is it. Mr. Sankoh, the president don't speak. The president begin in tone on a conciliatory, sort of tone, in which when I been calm, now me tell Anesco say I dey come and offer myself. That's a political statement. And because we try for dissect, evaluate, assess the president in statement just 2 days ago, the ink not even dry pan yet, I still they go back panam. Now me put myself forward and tell Anesco that is before this president became a president. Tell Anesco say, want help. That time we get Ebola. And the president then, whatever transpired between them, he embraced, encouraged this president, whether on a political expedition, he used them, and then gradually things, sort of change or kind of different. But here we are, we they talk about the president making speech on the 8th. Today is the 9th. I don't know whether we don't go past. Yeah, today is the 9th. I won't forget this day because 26 years ago, I had my first son. Yeah, I will not forget this day. Yes, I will not. Yeah, so then because old age don't begin to kick in, so you can kind of play around. But on a more serious note, the president of the republic will hardly speak. On a day before today, he spoke, and then he outlined certain things then. What I can try for do, Mr. Sankoh, is I like for play mind games wonderful. Yeah. I like for look at you, just like how they see you portrait, so how you talk, the way you lip they move, the way you eyebrow they shake, the way you nose they make, the way you yes they make, and try for determine or argue you, say the way how Alfred they talk. And over a period of time, and don't say I get interview yesterday, cumulatively, now a pattern, now a process that I not get hard evidence, but circumstantially, every time I talk to Alfred, in right here just the shake. And every time I ask him this question, in left here just the shake. It's a pattern. I don't talk to a system, and this is it, if you understand what I mean. So I do arrive at some kind of conclusion. And this is what it is. But all said and done, Mr. CashBox, the president of the republic don't talk. Now, man, we ask for talk. If he knows it, they say that talk and do. So that means when he talk, now we don't do. But I don't know what they talk and do, but this I don't mean that in a sarcastic way. I just they ask a relevant question. Because finally, when the president come out for talk, we don't happen. Pademba Road, for example, the president should have spoken. This is serious. This is a threat to the national security of the country. And the president for talk. Not to Lahai Lawrence Lima, they talk for him. Not to other people and they talk for him in this particular instance. Okay? If I don't get that all the information and then he come and then he talk, just like he talked recently. But let me come to where he talked recently, where he called other people and terrorists. Mr. Sankoh, I ask you this. Does it worry you or doesn't it worry you that the president of the republic does come on national media? Remember I say he asked for talk, and then this time he talk. And then he articulates everything in which he apportion blame, especially, I repeat, to the Pademba Road Prison. You want to call them Brig, you want to call them riot, you want to call them massacre. All that they don't talk, but this time he talk. even though it don't commission a commission, way for investigate, the president already don't think that. I can say that clearly because from what he say, he already don't apportion blame to who that responsible. Is it necessary for that investigation therefore go on any further?
Well, that's a very, very good point. You see, this now the problem where we get in our country. When you look at it, the same thing happened back with the Commission of Inquiry. Before they even go and out waiting actually happened, the GTT report say they already tell everybody say these people native mandem, a bunch of racketeers. The same thing back now we don't see now. You don't commission a commission. I love that word where you use Anjishlo. You don't commission a commission. Now you say Lawrence Lima now at the head of this commission. Then yesterday now, but since let we don't know because since let we not judge on that. Maybe Lawrence Lima don't report to him already in findings, which will be very interesting. But you see, Mr. Prince, you asked a question. Where go back where you say the president say he offer himself for Ebola. So many school of thoughts, then they say that is not true. It was called upon, and of course, like where he offer himself, which was a good idea. He offer himself. If even they give money, it don't matter because now he offer himself. To me, it's not important. Like
I'll pause you right there. I'll
Yes.
read a quick information on
Yes.
this basis. You get for do you forgive me
Of
because
course.
what we can do at this platform, we can elect for involve other people.
Yes.
A dear sister just inject into this same thing what they talk about and listen to this. So they have finished